just love me.
If I didn't ride blade on curve, would you still love me? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still love me? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to love me.
Okay guys, you won't believe the email that I just got right now. We are funded plus 100,000. How crazy is this? Yes, on our go to $2 million in prop firm funding, we have just added another 100,000. This is the certificate right there. I'll narrate the whole process, the ups and downs. It means we are funded 340,000 in prop firm funding right now, and that's super amazing, right? But this is the update for today. I'm looking forward to the next steps, looking forward to trading and getting withdrawal. Good morning, and what a morning it is. It's Tuesday and we are starting off a bit shaky on the NASDAQ. We held one trade on the NASDAQ through the weekend over onto Monday, and we just got stopped out right now. And also we had a limit order on US30 that just got triggered, and we are currently running plus 100 pips. That's our first and our second take profit, so that is kind of like balancing it out on both these trades. It is almost 12 p.m. and the Asian session is about to close soon, so this is normally the time that I analyze every single day. What we're gonna do is we're already holding a US30 trade, so the plan is simple here on US30. We're gonna simply respect the trend line that we have, a very beginner setup, and bounce off to the top. Now, if it was not because this trade was already given as a limit order, I would have loved to wait for more confirmation on the trade. So that makes it a little bit risky right now because it just dropped and the trade just got triggered. But since it's already active, let's wait and see how that ends up going. All right, we haven't seen any progress yet on this trade, but it's still playing around about break even, almost, at break even. So we're just gonna see. Let's get up and do some trades. The laundry is done. See if we can actually go out to get something to eat or anything whilst we're waiting for these trades to actually play out and complete, right? Yo, we just took a minus $1,200 hit on that particular trade, and I'm not going to lie, that stings a little bit, especially when you're just starting off the week and it starts off on a losing, note. That's just crazy, right? So you can see NASDAQ and US30, they're just on a free fall right now, and it's a bloodbath out there. So obviously I will not let that loss define my day. The 4-hour candle is about to close, and we're about to see a really nice opportunity to join the trade. Okay, so I just quickly jumped in here on this account. See, as you can see, this loss here that I took on US30, that was crazy, man. But it's all good. As you can see, we have these trades that are currently running. We're up 1% on the account. But the crazy thing that happened here, why I quickly jumped into the trade, I'm waiting for confirmation so I can give it in the inner circle, because you can see that this thing is testing this trend line. Because a lot of traders can see this trade. They've probably gone into this trade right at this level here. That trend line, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. They were entering buying positions here. And now the market wants to take out those stop losses. So that's exactly what happened here. We got wiped out by liquidity. The same thing is happening on the NASDAQ. Just look at that. NASDAQ, I just missed an entry here. I'm waiting for confirmation. As you can see, it's about to close on the 1 minute time frame right here. If it closes, well, it's already closing like this. We can already see, what can we see from this? We can see that at this level, right, the buyers are stepping into this market, right? Look at the push that they have given to this zone. They show that this support area is a strong zone, so the market might just want to continue from this area here. So as soon as I get confirmation, which I will in the next 50 seconds or whatever, I'll give this trade as a signal in the inner circle. We're just going to let this account run too, but so far so good. And there we have it, confirmation. A new support area just formed right here, and that's the signal that I was waiting for. Remember what I said for confirmation for the first trade. This is what we could have waited for if there was not a limit order on this particular trade, right? That was the mistake that we had on that trade. This time we're doing it the right way, and I'm going to send a buying signal in the the inner circle on the NASDAQ, and we're also looking at USD, and you can see that it's reacting the exact same way that NASDAQ is doing, right? It's a beautiful clean setup where the buyers are stepping into the market at a good support level, right? But now the good thing is we have a solid setup, we have confirmation. Now it's just time to step aside, let the market do its thing. Let's go and explore the city a little bit, and we'll come back later when the charts have moved. Alright guys, this is one of the buildings in the Red Square.
One of the tourist attractions.
Yes, one of the tourist attractions. Guys, we are back and it is quite late and cold. We had a fun day in the city and the market is about to close for the night. But remember that we had placed a little buy. So let me just show you guys that, because we are sitting in good profit. So we have pushed up on both of our trades on the NASDAQ and on USD. You can see that the NASDAQ is sitting up plus 170 pips, right? I was also looking at BTC USD, and you've seen that I was getting really good trades also on Bitcoin, right? It's, remember during the weekly analysis, I told you guys that I will be looking into that, and it has been pretty, easy, so to say, really. But then it's more like something that works with my strategy. It respects most of the concepts and the fundamental concepts of my strategy, right? So we might just ride this breakout that we have on Bitcoin to the top, but that is a problem for tomorrow, right? Tuesday is officially a wrap. So I'll see you guys tomorrow as soon as the Asian session is done. We will just call that a day. Let's close it off with a slice off.
Can you get the heck out? I need rest now. Got me bummed out. You so baby.
I've been looking at the charts pretty much since Asia closed and since the Asian session has been done, but it has been a slow start to the day. Normally after the Asian session, the market starts gaining a bit of volatility, right? But the NASDAQ trade was sitting around 214 pips the last time I checked that, and US30 was still holding on. But because of that little trend line break that we have, it's making things seem a little bit shaky on US30. And Bitcoin did drop a little bit and gave me a chance to join the trade, but now it's 2 hours later, so let us just check and see what's up on the chart. NASDAQ is up 249 pips, US30 up 55 pips, and they are moving, but they have hit their little roadblocks, right? These specific levels that we're looking at here on our charts, we need to see the market actually breaking out of these levels, a really nice clean breakout. Then we will be able to ride these positions up to the top. But NASDAQ is doing pretty well. US30 is but that's the whole thing with trading, right? It's a waiting game. That's exactly what we just need to keep doing, and let's pick up the charts later. Alright guys, it's like 2 hours later and just taken profit on our trade, and the market just tanked. As you can see, we just tanked right down there, right? And it was good that I took profit. So I'm going to wait for the market to now break out of this area, if you can see, right? If it breaks out of that area, then I will now catch the breakout and ride it up to the top. But as for now, that was a good move to leave the trade, and you can see that we secured our profit. Let's go and wait for the next trade. At the same time, we have these two trades running right here. Our account is trying to recover at that level. We're up 9 we're up $800 as you can see, and also US30 is in a bit of drawdown there, and the NASDAQ has moved quite nicely. We have already locked in our profit on the NASDAQ, you know, and US30 is the one that we are still waiting to actually just give us, you know, meaningful pips. But it's just a Wednesday, so let's see how the week ends up unfolding. Yo guys, I am back home and it is later in the evening. I am kicking myself right now. Bitcoin has made its move. It has just pushed up with a huge push. I was waiting for the entry. You remember, as soon as it dropped, I was watching it. I was waiting, trying to join that retracement, and I didn't get in. I didn't see it, and now it's gone. Right? You know what they say, the best trades are the ones that you don't take, but they don't talk about the ones that you miss. Those ones, they hurt the most. And also our US30 trade is really testing our patience right now, so it has been playing around. I'm not even going to lie, it's not looking good at all, because at this point the buyers and the sellers are in a really crazy tug of war right now, and because of that trend line break that we just saw, US30 is looking a bit, not even a bit, is looking very shaky. But I'm going to trust my analysis. And if you look on the chart, we got rejected at this level here where we had that evening star forming and the market just tanked right down, right? So this is the moment where a lot of traders panic, but we have a plan. You always trust your analysis. We have a plan, we have a stop loss, we are using proper risk management, so we're going to hold the trade. And even if this trade doesn't work out, right, our risk is managed, and that is what matters the most. On the NASDAQ, we're already sitting in good profit, so that's not even something that I am, worried about. We are safe there. And yes, with that, we will call it a day. We'll see what the market decides to do overnight, and we'll pick it up first thing tomorrow morning. Right now, what I need to do is to jump into the shower, go and hang out with the family, watch something, and yes, call it a night. What a difference a day makes. It's a beautiful Thursday and the market is looking absolutely beautiful. I know I am starting the day a little bit late. That's almost 4 hours after the time that I normally check my charts. And this is because I had gone here to see this, and that.
I guess, yeah. That's why I'm not with nobody, 'cause I don't wanna hurt nobody. Did it over text, didn't call me. Still got love for your mommy. I know you wanna be somebody, even if you gotta leave somebody.
Was dragged over to the aquarium for the day, and that's pretty much how I started off my day. But remember, our US30 trade, the one that has been testing our patience for the whole week, yes, that one that we have been riding for over 48 hours. US30 has just been acting absolutely crazy. That was in brutal drawdown. US30 was in crazy drawdown. Well, today, yes, the market is paying off, looking absolutely lovely. So let's just check it out right now. So look at this. The market has pushed back all the way up after playing around, and it never hits our stop loss. So our stop loss was right here. That right there is what actually separates the winners from the rest. You should note that, right? The ability to hold your trade in drawdown. And what the market has been doing over the couple of days is to build a liquidity zone, right? You can see that they've placed their stop losses at that point. All the liquidity is going to be swept out, where it's waiting to be swept out at that level, right? And you ask yourself at this point, what would the market rather do instead at this level? Would it go up to a spot where there's a lot of orders, or will it come back to this level where there's just, two swing points, right? It only makes sense for it to push to a spot where a lot of people have their eyes on. A lot of sellers want to sell at that spot. A lot of buyers want to jump in after it breaks up. We'll add positions to our US30 trade. Since it has been playing around for so long, we might as well capitalize. This is not the time to run away from the trade, right? We're going to ride this movement up to the top. You can already see the progress right there. We just see 70 pips and we're up $400. That's technically what we're up right now, but the chart is moving right now from here. We're about to break out of this area, just like I said. So we gotta wait for that, sweep out these levels, push up to this next zone right over here. In the inner circle, we only have our NASDAQ trade for the meantime that did well. As you can see, US30 has only given us 50 pips. That was the highest that we got from US30, but we're patient, and you can see now we're up 70 pips. These are the trades that I've just added on US30. So we're about to write this thing up, and just like that, the market has done exactly what we wanted it to do. NASDAQ is up plus 320 pips, and US30 has just smashed through our second take profit, which is for plus 100 pips. Now look closely at this. Look at the way the market just tanked for a moment, right? Look at how it's just going down. And what you need to understand here is those orders have just been triggered, right? I told you this would happen. When the market gets to that high liquidity zone, the sellers are going to jump in. Those that are anticipating a buy are also going to jump in, and the sellers are adding their selling positions, you know, thinking that's like the highest price. All of those people that are trading with the indicators is showing them overbought right now. At this point, I expect the buyers to step in and absorb all of those selling orders that they have, and then start pushing the price right up to the top until it wipes out all of those stop losses that they have. So at this point, you already understand that we have a couple of prop firm accounts that we are also trading. And remember the 90K account that we have. I know weekends are for withdrawals, but I need a quick $500 in crypto. So it's time to request a withdrawal, a quick withdrawal with 10 trade right now. While that is processing, right, I want you to just notice how the market is still moving. It's not yet done, right? It's not yet done. It's going to go out and wipe out all of those final stop losses that are sitting on the other side. This is why we hold our trades for longer. And I've already updated the inner circle that we are holding our trades to our final take profits, both on the NASDAQ and on US30. And there you have it, guys. The request has been responded to. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can see the account is back to its initial balance of 90,000. That was pretty fast, right? So it just took them like 2 hours to respond to my ticket and to process the withdrawal. So what I'll do is I'll just, you know, request that to my USDT wallet address. But for me, that is a wrap for Thursday. I'm pretty tired. We called the shots, we rode the trade, we got paid. So that's about it, right? So I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final day. You already know that Friday is NFP, so we're super excited to see what happens for that. It's a lovely Friday. What we just did right now on the NASDAQ and USD. Okay, so NFP is out, and just look at that. NASDAQ just smashed through our final take profit. It went exactly just as we said it would, right? And that's it. This is the moment you want to get out of the market because of this crazy volatility, right? So a good dancer should know when to leave the stage. I am telling the inner circle right now that we are closing all of our, you know, running positions. So NASDAQ just hit our final take profit. US30 was left with just a few pips to hit our final take profit, but we are at a key reversal area, and you should know what happens at those zones, right? And just a few minutes later, just look at what happened right now on US30. It dropped right from that level. If we had stayed in the market for a little longer, we would have given back the profits that we just made. So, you know, that's the difference between a good week and a bad week. But as a trader, you should know when to get in, yes, but when to get out of the market is just as important. But this was not an easy week at all. It started off with a pretty sore punch, right? You saw that minus 1,000, you know, dollar loss that we took first thing as we started trading, and right now we had to work extra hard to first recover that and to make profit on top of that. And that is exactly what we did. We worked a good $2,600 on this account. We stuck to a plan, and you know, we had the patience. We recovered. We had to make an additional 2,600, like I said, just to get back in profit for the week. And yes, we are ending the week in, I'm not even going to go back onto the charts and check it. This is a perfect way, you know, to just, you know, this is a real trading week. This is exactly what a real trading week looks like. It is not just straight profits, you know, back to back like that. Now we're going to let the market close for the day, and we'll do a quick weekly analysis. But for now, that's a wrap. What a week we just had. Are you scared?
I'm ready.
You're ready.
100%.
Signing is life away. We have the tickets, bro, and these matching items. just done with the ride, and honestly, what is your rating out of 10?
I'll give it an
8 out of 10, right? I will give it 6 out of 10. You know why? Because it's short. Like, I think it should have been longer, personally. I wanted to stay on that thing for way longer than
maybe
it actually,
like 3 minutes.
You know, like 3 minutes. Let me show you guys. When you normally go onto these ones, this lasts longer because you see it's slower and it's not really moving as fast. I think he went there for like 30 seconds because he was so fast. Did you see the way you were moving?
So fast.
Now what we want to do is we're going to look for something to eat. Yes.
Something to neck.
He wants sushi rolls. Find a nice chill restaurant where we can find some food to eat. But as for the zipline, I will rate it a good 6 out of 10. He gives it an 8 out of 10. But I just think that it was too short. It's not a value for money. But it's a good experience, right? Alright guys, we are back on our trading desk, and today was absolutely lovely, as you guys just saw. That was super crazy, but enough of that. I am ready to do the weekly analysis. So I'm just going to get this over and done with because there is going to be a lot of editing to do for this particular video. I don't even know how long it's going to be, but just starting off with looking at news. This is absolutely one of, you know, my favorite trading weeks. Right after NFP, you know, we're going to have core CBI. That will be the only crazy news event that we might have for this coming week. We don't have news on Monday, Tuesday. We only have PMI on Wednesday and the core CPI on Thursday. Friday we don't have news, so it's going to be a really smooth week, a week that you can actually capitalize on. So we're super excited for that. Right now, let's just go on to our charts. Let's see what NASDAQ, US30 and gold are looking like for the coming week. I will start with my absolute favorite, which is the NASDAQ. But notice something really crazy. Remember guys, we've been trading together. We've literally been trading together ever since, this is April, right, when we had the whole crisis and the market dropped with the crazy tariffs and all of that, right? And we're just giving the weekly analysis. Not once did I ever change my narrative of, you know, being on an uptrend and always buying, right? Remember when we're even looking at these levels, saying that the market has to come and close the gap, right? The gap strategy that we had, it has still not yet dropped to close these levels, right? You know, and it is just crazy for the fact that we've been doing this, all of this April to September right now, and we've been doing it together every single week. And it's not just April, right? I'm just counting this because this is the most recent low that we had, but we've been trading this for consistently every single week, not even missing once. That's consistency over speed right there. So this is what our NASDAQ chart is looking like. One of the first things that you always want to do before you place a trade, right? Obviously people say that drop down analysis and all of those things, but we are trading with price action, right? As the price unfolds, we want to be able to interpret that. So after we have seen the market pushing up and the way it has acted throughout the week, right now we have to respond to that, right? So it failed to go over to the all-time highs. That's the first thing we should note. It has created a new support area right here. Well, it's not really new, but it came back to retest the old support area that it had. Now notice that NASDAQ is just stuck in the middle of nowhere, right? It doesn't really have a spot to go. So this is already what we have, you know, derived from the higher time frame. We're going to drop over to the lower time frame. This is simple top-down analysis, right? I would have preferred to draw my trend line on the daily time frame also, so that it's just not complicated, right? So we go back to the daily time frame. We draw this trend line that we're seeing here, right? I already have these touches right here, so I'm just going to use this as a trend line on the NASDAQ, right? So as you can see, what's happening right now, we have a simple price action beginner setup on the NASDAQ, right? If you're able to capitalize on just one movement throughout the week, you don't really even have to be worried about anything else. So you can see that we have a good, nice breakout, right? It's coming back as a retest. So is this going to be a retest on the NASDAQ? We don't know that, right? We want to see how the market reacts. We don't know how it's going to open, but so far so good. It is at a good spot. We know, we understand, we understand the basic fundamentals of trend lines. We break out, we get a retest. We want to see the market continuing in that direction. But if this is too obvious, then, you know, it might actually just turn into liquidity, right? So we need to find support. We need to find a place where we have support, which is going to be around this area here. You see, this was a little resistance zone, right? The market broke out of it and then it's now acting as support. But notice how the market has tapped into that level and has already started to reject off of this level. So we need to find another support area in the zone in case it comes back and it fails to hold here, which is going to be this one right here. It's going to be the setup on the NASDAQ, what we're looking for. Simple price action. Remember, we are always going to react to how the price is moving, what the candlesticks are saying, the new candlesticks, reacting to those candles. And then if it just goes back up to the top, obviously this is a very easy one where we have a breakout, and the rest is, you have to know that by now, right? And US30, just one and the same thing, but US30 does look more interesting. You can see my rough trend line that I have right here, but you see that we have these areas that I've cut out. So how do you always want to deal with that? We want to clone that trend line, right? You want to clone it and accommodate these levels right here. So after I accommodate those levels, this is what it now looks like. Then this becomes an area, right? This is our area of value on US30. And you can see the market reacting after this strong drop. The sellers dropping the market to that level. The buyers just stepped in at a good spot, right? So with price action, as it gets to this spot, we see good momentum candles here. We see a nice bullish engulfing or a morning star setup. Then we might just want to ride that up to the top. And also for the fact that this is a clear setup for everyone, it might be a bit tricky, just the same way it broke out of this area for us. Remember, that was on Tuesday, right? When we took that loss on US30, it was a very easy and clear setup for everyone. So we want to be careful at the zone, but it's a simple everyday setup. Then obviously at the top, we see we have equal highs here. That might just be something that's creating liquidity again. If we go back to this level, that'll be the fourth time. Then at the spot, we have to wipe them out. This strategy should be easy for everyone at this point because I always demonstrate it. I always trade it a lot of time on the channel. Right now, let's go over on to our gold chart, which does not look good to trade for me, right? I really don't want to be trading gold right now. As you can see, it's just been pushing up to the top, right? Ever since we had that absolutely lovely trade to sweep out these levels, right? Remember, notice how this is almost one and the same thing that we were not seeing on US30, right? Look at this. These levels here, I think you'd see it clearly on the 4-hour time frame. Look, something like this. You see how we have these equal levels here? That's almost one and the same thing that we had on gold for this day right here. Are you seeing how it's almost one and the same thing like that? And then we swept them out. That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? So on gold, really, we can't see a setup. As for me, there's nothing, right? We can see this, rejection that we had at the spot, but what is the spot, right? It doesn't really make any sense. And obviously for the fact that it has formed new highs, and then notice how this is a bullish momentum candle. Then we have this indecision candle here. Then we have a bearish candle. Isn't this something that's a setup that people have seen before? If you read your Japanese candlestick Bible, that's supposed to be an evening star setup, right? And then normally it just drops down. But then to where, right? We don't really have, what are these levels here on gold? Probably for scalpers, right? Those that are not trying to stay in the market for too long. But when we have more information on gold, then we'll be able to trade it. I don't want to really consider these zones as support areas because they're too weak for this movement that we had to the top, right? My support level would just be right at probably this, if I'm dragging it, but then this is the best place I would want to say is going to be support for gold, right? So that's about it. We don't have anything complicated as usual on these markets. We just have to wait for the setups to play out, to present themselves, and to read price action as it unfolds. And I'm sure we're going to have a really good week. Now, if you did enjoy this video and you found the breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, turn your post notifications, and subscribe to the channel. You feel me? With that, it's been Tina, and I'll see you guys in the next lit video. Love you guys.